Start off this lecture, I'm going to actually start off with Native American women. And where I'm going to start off is the Eastern tribes. There are many, many multiple Eastern tribes that are definitely listed in your book. But when you talk about like responsibilities for women or women responsibilities, for the East Coast tribes, women cooked, maintained the home, raised the children. They were the artisans, the domestic artisans, and I say domestic artisans in the sense that they were making thread from bark, grass, sinew. They were making cloth from animal skins. They created the baskets, the mats, the bowls, the pots. And so, yes, they were making very domestic things, but they're also making things that would be art, or would be definitely seen as that, and definitely can also be significant within a tribe, because the way they make their baskets or the way they make their pots might be very unique to the tribe itself. Other things for women, they had the right to divorce and to remarry. Also, about 1/3 of the various tribes had what was known as a matriarchal society. Matriarchal society is when women ruled the families. Matrilineal system is when one traced your lineage through the mother's line. Another one that is associated with it is matrilocal society. Matrilocal society is when a newly married couple will be members of the bride's family. So they basically, most times they will actually marry within the bride's family or bride's tribe, and then actually live with that tribe. Okay, an example of a few tribes, the Iroquois, East Coast, once again. They assigned, there were definitely an assignment of tasks. Men usually hunted, did warfare, did diplomacy. Women were assigned more social, but also political roles. Definitely farming, they would be in charge of farming. But women, when you talk about political roles, women could actually be a part of the selection for chief. They could participate in politics, and actually some of them could initiate warfare, meaning being in that decision to decide to go to war. Another one, Narragansett, men and women would farm together, basically men and women, and then eventually the children would farm together. It was definitely a joint effort. Algonquin, agriculture, once again, was done mainly by women, but men would definitely be doing the fishing, the gathering of plants. No. Agriculture, they did much of the farming was done by women. They also fished, gathered plants, processed, and stored food. When you talk about women of the various Eastern tribes, they could often also act as business people, and they actually were known to be a part of, be known as traders, or were participating in the trade. Oftentimes you will see the Eastern tribe women be kind of that negotiator when dealing with like the English and the various tribes. Many times it was a woman that would kind of like negotiate that interaction. Another one is women could be seen as shamans or priestesses. They could also serve as leaders within a tribe. A leader within the tribe would be known as a sachem. Sachem, S-A-C-H-E-M. As the Narragansett tribe, you will actually have women that were sachems. You have one woman, and I'm going to spell her name, Q-U-A-I-P-A-N, was a sachem. So that's definitely an example. Another one, Weetamoo, W-E-E-T-A-M-O-O, the Pasaket tribe was also a sachem. So just examples of that. Okay, families. Iroquois. Iroquois tribe believed the female creature actually created is a part of their creation story. Basically, they see a female creature as the creation of Earth. And I also gave you a copy of the Iroquois creation story. When you talk about families and working together, women worked alongside women, young women learning from the older women of the tribe, and that's how they learn how to do all the things that they need to do, but also learn the information of the tribe. Marriages were very important. Marriages would often link families, and so marriage was about a couple, but marriage was also about linking families. And also marriages could link families, and it could be possible of a political link, if you will. So marriage was important not just for the marriage and the couple itself, but actually was important in the dynamics of the tribes and the connections of the tribe. Now, having said that, usually marriages were not forced. Usually marriage, there might be kind of like a setup, a connection between two people, but if those two people didn't get along, it wasn't necessarily forced into marriage. Different tribes are definitely going to have different customs, but overall, for the most part, when you talk about Native Americans, marriages, they really wanted marriages to work, and so they really were trying to promote a friendship that would then basically develop into a lasting relationship. The Micmac tribe, M-I-C-M-A-C, prohibited sexual relations for the first year of marriage because they wanted the friendship to grow. They wanted it to be more of a friendship that basically developed into, obviously, something more. As I mentioned before, divorce was acceptable. For most Native American tribes, they definitely believed in birth control, and they definitely practiced birth control. One of the biggest one was by herbs. Another one was no sex while breastfeeding. There also was abortion and infant suicide that was practiced. When a child does become a bit older, yes, they're still being raised by their parent, but now as a child is a little bit older, it's seen that it's a tribal responsibility to raise that child. So yes, you have parents who take care of their child, but then you also have a tribe that is also a part of raising that child. Okay, another tribes, if you move westward, to give you some examples westward, the Ojibwe, Ojibway of Minnesota. An example, mother and father both shared child rearing responsibility. Women farmed while the men hunted, but then the men and women would definitely come together and process the food that either they harvested or they hunted. So there definitely was a point in time where there was a joint effort. Another one, Anasazi, this is definitely would be the southwest area. They definitely had more of a division of labor. Men cultivated the crops, and women stayed more in the pueblos, where they would prepare food, care for the family, create textiles, pottery, cooking utensils, baskets, blankets, all those various things. So with the Anasazi, you tend to see a little bit more of a separation of male and female roles. Okay, another group of people that I want to talk about would be the Spanish, basically Spanish heritage women. The first encounter in the Americas with Europeans is definitely going to be the Spanish conquistadors. They will come over and take over the area or the region that we know today as Mexico. At that point in time, it was the Aztec, the Mayan empires. And then with that, they're going to bring the Spanish culture, religion, language into that region. And then that region will definitely spread what we know today into the southwest of the United States. Spain is going to encourage women from Spain to actually come over to, in a sense, to the New World. So you will definitely see women coming over to help colonize. And then over time period, with families, they will definitely migrate to what's referred to as El Norte, is what we know to be is the Southwest in the United States. So there is definitely a good amount of women making their way into El Norte and making a life. Definitely living on what you see a lot of times is ranches or rancheros. Either they were doing ranching as an animal ranching, like cow ranching, horse ranching, or you will definitely see them doing agriculture. And the women would definitely be a part of that ranch life, definitely focusing on the home, raising the children, promoting religion, but you will also see them definitely being a part and working in some way, shape, or form on the ranches, on the various ranches. The Spanish are going to set up pueblos or towns. They'll also set up presidios, which were military forts. An example of this would be a woman by the name of Donna Teresa Varela. She settled with her family near a presidio where her husband was stationed. And so her husband was stationed at the presidio, and Teresa basically ran the household, took care of the children, and ran the household. Depending on where the Spanish settled, if you have been living in kind of what I would refer to as the New Mexico region in the United States, they tended to live in simple adobe homes. And you also see them running small businesses, meaning the women running small businesses. You would see that also in kind of like the Texas, even Arizona area. But you'll also see them definitely creating rancheros. And the homes might be adobe, but then you'll also start to see some basically like wood structures, more of like a ranch home, if you will. Women in California definitely would be seen on rancheros. They might be very large in size. They also might be very moderate in size. And they would definitely be working the rancheros. Talking about that. What the women were doing, they definitely have to learn how to make a life in this new world. Many times they are learning from the Native American women. Women are definitely going to be responsible for the household and raising the kids, and also making sure that the kids and the family go to religious services. They will also learn herbal medicine, or how to use herbs, definitely from the Native Americans, and definitely promoting education and religious life for the children and family. Women, for the most part, were educated or were literate at this point in time. They definitely participated in the judicial system. Spanish women or Spanish heritage women could inherit land. It was actually very common to see a woman inherit land on an equal basis of her male counterparts. So if it was a daughter and a son, both individuals would receive equal amounts of land. Definitely over the years, you will see a blending of culture, and you definitely see a blending of culture with the Native American population. And then as the white settlement came over, and this is definitely years down the road, but you'll also see a blending of that. But you'll definitely see a blending between the Spanish and the Native American culture. And this is definitely going to result in a culture known as mestizos. So these women, they ranched, they farmed, they ran businesses, they ran the home, took care of the children, and they definitely established a very complex culture in the West.